Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 9 math. So you can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 9 and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapters relations and functions. And the lessons we're going to cover today are identify independent and dependent variables, identify functions, identify vertical line test and domain and range of relations. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is identify dependent and independent variables. So here I am on grade 9 math. The chapter we're working on is relations and functions, and we're going to start with the first lesson, that is identify dependent and independent variables. Okay. Okay, so grade 9 math, the chapter is functions and relations. Identify independent and dependent variables, right? So let's just start with the lesson. Okay, let's just start with an example. Kendall is planning a picnic for her co-workers and plans to serve veggie burgers. The more of her co-workers who attend the picnic, the more veggie burgers she will prepare, right? The number of C is the number of Kendall's co-workers who attend the picnic, and V is the number of veggie burger Kendall prepares. Which of the variable is independent and which is dependent? Okay, let's just understand the question. Kendall is planning a party, right? So the more workers he have, the more veggie burger he have to make, right? You have to see which variable is dependent and which is independent, right? So C is the variable that represents the co-workers who attend the picnic, and V is the variable who represents the veggie burgers, right? So you have to see which is the dependent variable and which is the independent variable, right? So the co-workers are independent, right? Co-workers are the independent, and the burgers veggie burgers he make is dependent on how many people attend the picnic, right? So C is the independent variable, co-workers are independent, and V is the dependent variable. Why? Right? Since the number of veggie burgers Kendall prepares depends on the number of her co-workers who attend, right? So the number of veggie burgers is the dependent variable, so V is the dependent variable. V is the dependent variable and C is the independent variable. There are two variables whenever we're working on the equations, we have two variables involved. One is called independent variable and another is called dependent variable. The variable whose values does not depend on the other variable is the independent variable, and the variable whose value depends on the other variable is the dependent variable, right? Let's just start with the practice questions. Let's see. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Okay. Susie and Candice are organizing a car wash to raise money to buy new hockey sticks for their school's hockey team. The number of hockey sticks they will be able to purchase for the team depends on the number of cars they wash. Which of the variable is independent, which is dependent? Okay, now this is given in the question. The number of hockey sticks, read the question very, very carefully. The number of hockey sticks they will be able to purchase for the team depends on the number of cars they wash, right? That means the number of hockey sticks is dependent variable, right? S is the number of hockey sticks and the number of cars washed is an independent variable, right? So S is an C is the independent variable and S is on the dependent variable. The more cars they wash, the more hockey sticks they will buy, right? So C is an independent variable and S is the dependent variable. The correct option is option number 2. Okay, the next one is Emma is planning to go on some rides at the Crawford Country Fair. So she must purchase some ride tickets. The number of ride tickets she purchased dictates how many rides she can go on, right? Which of the variable is independent and which is dependent, right? The more tickets she have, she can ride more rides, right? That means the number of rides is dependent on the tickets. So number of rides is the dependent variable and the number of tickets are independent variable. So R is the dependent variable and T is the independent variable. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? Oh, the more tickets she have, yes, the more tickets she have, the more rides she can do. So the number of rides are dependent on the number of tickets, right? So T is the independent variable and R is the dependent variable. Option 2 is the correct option, right? Okay, the next one is the Putnam Coffee House brews fresh roasted coffee beans to serve to their patrons. The amount of coffee they will need to brew is in a day depends on the number of patrons they have. Okay, so the coffee is dependent on the number of patrons. So C is the dependent variable and P is the independent variable, right? C is the dependent and P is the independent. Option number 2 is the correct option. Lara is decorating antique picture frames to give as gift to the members of her family. The number of gifts she create is determined by the number of frames she has, right? So she can make as many gifts as many frames she have, right? So the gifts are dependent on the number of frames, right? So number of frames is independent variable and number of gifts is the dependent variable. So G is the F is independent and G is the dependent variable, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is Identify functions. Okay, look at this mapping. Is this relation a function? Yes, it is a function, right? Just look, each each domain value is paired with only one range value, right? So the relation is a function. A relation is a function if each number in the domain is paired with exactly one number in the range, right? That is the definition of the function. If for each value of the domain there is only one value in the range, that means the relation is a function, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, look at this graph. Is this a relation? Yes or no? Sorry, is this a function? Yes or no? No, this is not a function. Why? Just look at these 3 points. These 3 points. You can see for only one value of x, there is one, two, three, four. X has the value of 5. You have three values of y. One, two, three, right? Only for one value of x, there is three values of y, right? So this isn't the function. For each value of x, there is only one value of y, right? So this is not the function. The correct option is no, right? For each x value, there must be only one y value. So the correct option is no, this is not a relation. Function, sorry. Okay, look at the set of pair orders. Is this a relation a function? Okay, 17 and 3, 1 and 19, 20 and 25 and 8. Which is the correct option? The correct option is yes. Because each x value, for each value of x, there is only one value of y. So yes, they are. It is the function. Okay, look at this mapping. Is this a relation a function? So which is the correct option? Yes, it is a function, right? For each value of x, there is only one value of y. So yes, it is a function. Okay, look at this table. Is this relation a function? Which is the correct option? Yes or no? The correct option is no. Why? You can see there is two x values same, 19 and 19, right? For this is not a function. The correct option is no. Look at this graph. Is this function a relation? Is this a relation a function? Yes, it is, right? Because for each value of x, there is only one value of y. So yes, it is a function. Look at this mapping diagram. Is this a relation of function, which is the correct option? The correct option is no, because you can see there the domain 5 has two values, 12 and 3, right? So the correct option is no. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is identify functions vertical line test. Look at this graph. Is this a relation of function? Okay, so you have to apply the vertical line test, right? You can make vertical lines on the graph. It is impossible to draw a vertical line that intersect the graph more than once. So the function is a so the relation is a function. So only one vertical line intersects the graph at one point, right? You can see this line intersect the graph on one point. This line intersect the graph on. So each vertical line must have uh, intersect the graph only on one point, right? You can use the vertical line test on a graph to determine whether the relation is a function. If it is impossible to draw a vertical line that intersects the graph more than once, then each x value is paired with exactly one y value. So the relation is a function, right? Because each line intersect the graph on one point. That means for each value of x, there is only one value of y. So yes, that is a function, right? If it is possible to draw a vertical line that intersects the graph more than once, then there is an x value that is paired with more than one y value. So the relation is not a function. Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, look at this graph. Is this a relation of function? Okay, let's just draw the vertical lines. Okay, is this a function? You can see each line intersect the graph on 2 points, right? So the vertical line intersects the graph on more than one point. That means for each value of x, there is more than one value of. I think, but circle is also a function. Let's see. Yes, no. Because each vertical line intersects on more than one point, right? So this is not a function. Also look at this graph. Is this a relation a function? The correct option is no, because the vertical line intersect the graph on more than one point. So the correct option is no, this is not a function. Look at this graph. Is this a relation a function? Which is the correct option? The correct option is no, this is not a function. Okay, look at this graph. Is this a relation, a function, which is the correct option? Which is the correct option? The correct option is, if you make a vertical line, the vertical line intersects the graph on only one point. So yes, that is a function. Look at this graph. Is this a relation, a function? Which is the correct option? Yes, it is a function, right? The correct option is yes. Look at this graph. Is this a relation, a function? Yes, it is a function. The correct option is yes. Look at this graph. Is this a relation, a function? The correct option is yes. Look at this graph. Is this a relation, a function? The correct option is no. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is domain and range of a relation. So we're going to see what is the domain and what is the range of a function, right? What is the range of the function, right? The easiest definition of the domain and range. Domain is all the x values of a function, and domain is all the x values, right? And range is the all the y values of a function. X is the independent variable, right? And y is the dependent variable. What is the range of the relation? The range of the relation is all the y values, 3, 3 and -4, right? So that means the range is the set -4 and 3, right? So range is all the y values, right? So just look at the y values. So the y values are the range of the function. Let's just start with the test questions. What is the range of the relation? Okay, the range of the function is, let's just see the y values. -1, -3, and -5, right? That means option number 1. You can see when just matched to the y-axis -1, -3, -5, option 1 is the correct option. Okay, what is the domain of this relation? The domain is 0, 5, 0. Option number 1 is the correct option. Oh, domain, sorry, not range. The domain is all the x values, right? So that is 4, -15, and -6. Option number 2 is the correct option, right? Just read the question carefully. This is for me, this instruction. Okay, what is the range of the relation? Okay, now you have to see the range of the relation, right? Range means the y values. Let's just see. 2, 0, -1, -2, right? Here it is 2, -1, 0, and 2. Option number 2 is the correct option, right? What is the range of this relation? That is 14, -6, and 11. Option number 2 is the correct option. This must be 14, right? But that is 4 here. What is the domain of the relation? Okay, yeah, we have to say domain. All the x values, right? So the domain of this function is 3, -2, -4, right? The correct option is option number 2, that is -4, -2, and 3. Option 2 is the correct option. What is the domain of the function? Again, you have to see all the x values, right? So they are 2, -1, -5, and -3. So that is option number 1 is the correct option, right? What is the range of the relation? That is 5 and -3, right? Option number 3 is the correct option. What is the range of the relation? Which is the correct option? Okay, the range -4, not negative, 4, 3, and -1. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the domain of the relation? Which is the correct option? The domain is 11, 17, 20, and 17. Option number 2 is the correct option, right? 17 is repeating, so what is the range of the function? Which is the correct option? That is 3 and -4, right? Option 1 is the correct option, right? What is the domain of the relation? Which is the correct option? 2 and 6, right? Domain of the function is 2 and 6. Very good. What is the range of the relation? Yes, the range is -4, -5, 2, and 4. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the domain of the relation? The domain is 1 and -1. What is the range of the relation? That is -9, 10, and 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. Oh, you have to see the range. 9, 4, and 8 is the range. Sorry. What is the domain of the relation? That is -1, 1, and 2. Right? Okay, we are done with the lesson. So we were working on grade 9 math. The chapter we were working on is functions and relations. The lessons we have covered today are identify independent and dependent variables, identify functions vertical line test, and domain and range of the relations. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday 5 to 9, right? Or either you can join me in the interactive session that would be daily from 4 to 5 and from 9 to 10. So if you have any questions, you can ask. We have still some time. We can discuss the lesson you need help with. Please ask question if you have any. Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.